Hey guys, this is Arun,
And this is Abby.
and welcome to Fill Your Pockets. Today's episode is July 23rd, and yesterday was actually our first day of the episode. And guess what? We had a clean sweep. Abhishek's picks. We went 5-0 yesterday. Um, what a way to start off the betting podcast. To start the podcast, we'll just go over the games real quick. So yesterday we had the Yankees versus the Red Sox. Our picks were the Red Sox, and they won 5-4. Our second game of the day from yesterday was the Padres versus the Marlins, and the Padres snuck away with the win, 3-2. Our third game from yesterday was the Cubs versus the Cardinals, and we had the Cardinals winning that game, which they did, with the final score being 2-3.
The fourth game I ruined before you go. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Dodgers were up. It was
Dodgers.
a late night game, so people may not know if they were awake or not. But yeah, they were up a lot, and not a
Uh-huh.
lot, but they had a decent lead, and they choked in the end. So we were actually 4-1 yesterday.
4-1.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, the Dodgers did lose. Oh
yeah, they
man.
did lose.
Yeah,
Last
yeah.
inning.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so the Giants, they snuck away the 10th inning. I remember looking at the box score and I was like, no way the Giants won against the Dodgers. So we are 4-1 for yesterday. Not bad. And also Abby had a bonus pick yesterday, the Rangers versus Tigers. Abby said the Tigers were on a nice little win streak, even though they started the season cold. And yesterday they came out with the win against the Rangers, 7-5. And like I said before, not a bad way to start off the betting podcast, 4-1. And we hope to continue to help you guys make some money. And let's just get right into it, man. Abhishek, do you want to quickly go over the games from yesterday? You want to give
Yeah,
your
thanks,
thoughts?
everyone. So he mentioned everything perfectly. The results 4-1 on IG. We made our final. Like, if I had to make my final two picks, we as a group decided that St. Louis Cardinals straight bet because there was value there, and the Red Sox straight up money line. Those are both value plays because they're both less than minus 140. They both hit, and that's where our goal is. We're not going to give you a 5-team, 16 parlay because those are realistically going to hit if you make them once, maybe every week or every
Mhm.
2 weeks or whatever, because it's mathematically very difficult to hit on those. That's why we're trying to make this as easy as possible, even though the word easy should not be associated with this field of work at all. But going over yesterday, yeah, first game, Yankees Red Sox, great matchup, rivalry, probably one of the richest rivalries in all of sports. Hey, I went off on Jordan Montgomery because he had no reason for me to believe in him, his ability, but he played uh, pretty well. When he was there, they didn't score one. He single-handedly kept the Yankees in the game. They had a rain delay for 40 minutes, and they brought him back out there, and he still pitched well. But for the Red Sox, Tanner, he also pitched phenomenal too. He gave up one run, so this was basically a great pitching matchup. And then ultimately, it was basically who had um, the best remaining bullpen left. And at the end of the day, the Red Sox prevailed because their arms were better than the Yankees' arms. And they got the win, even though it took a long time for this game to be decided. Then we went to the Padres at Miami. Blake Snell, I said this. I think he is getting back to Blake Snell. He's been decent over his last three starts. And yesterday he was flat out phenomenal. 6 innings, went deep into the game. He averages probably four and a third innings being pitched. He doesn't pitch that many innings because he has an injury history. But yesterday he was flat out phenomenal. I know it's against Miami, who struggled to score, but still, it's a major league team. He has struggled. He was phenomenal. Miami made a late push. It was 3-0. They made a late push, but it wasn't enough because the Padres have a great bullpen themselves. They were able to sustain the 3-0 lead and make it 3-2, and they kept that lead for as long as they could, and that's all they needed to do. Then we got to our second real main pick, which was the Cubs at St. Louis, and give the Cubs credit. They fought their starter. He started off awful. His name is very difficult to. I'll just say his first name, Adbert. He's their young ace that they have going on there, and he gave up 3 runs real quick. I think in the second inning they ended up having 3 runs already. The Cardinals, and he after that he didn't give up a single run. So he pitched well, 3 runs, quality start. But St. Louis, Kim's 21 straight scoreless innings that ended up being broken. He gave up 2 runs in the fourth inning, if I'm not mistaken. But still, just like the Padres, they did not give up the lead because they were able to sustain their pitching. Kim pitched phenomenal. He gave up 2 runs. That's not that big of a deal, especially that qualifies as a quality start. He has been pitching dominantly as a lefty, and they're 5-0 in his last 5 starts, and that's how the St. Louis Cardinals prevailed again. The last game was not the last game. The late night game was the Giants, the Dodgers, and Anthony D. He struggled again. He gave up only 3 runs. He didn't for the Giants. He struggled somewhat. 3 runs for him, that quickly would be considered, I would say, struggling, even though his standards are higher this year. The Giants, but they were in the game. It was a 2-run game. Walker Buehler was absolutely dominant. He gave up 1 run in the first inning, and then he had 6 straight scoreless innings. I think they needed to probably pitch him 8 innings because they ended up losing in the ninth because Kenley Jansen, their closer, so-called closer, he blew the lead yesterday. 2 days ago, and then he blew the lead again yesterday. So they have an issue going on here. They need to fix it because Walker Buehler was absolutely dominant, and you wasted a start by him by blowing a 2-run lead into the ninth. And that cannot happen, especially when you two are the two best teams in the game and you're both competing to win this division, because it's basically them two, and the Padres are still in it, obviously, because they're fantastic as well. But this division is going to be going down to the wire. And then we had our final bonus pick. That game was at 1:00 p.m. It was the earliest game out of all of them. It was a lone early game. But yeah, the Rangers are 0-9 in their last 9 games. They're 0-7 since the All-Star break. There's no reason to back them, especially when you were getting such a great price on the Tigers. They were minus 155 when I saw it yesterday. And I understand the Detroit Tigers are not like the Dodgers or the Red Sox or any of these dominant teams, but they've been playing phenomenal lately. They're on their own winning streak. They're an improving team, and yesterday they proved it again by winning. And to be honest, that game was never close. And now, Arun, getting
All right.
into
Yeah. Let's get into July
today.
23rd's picks. All right. So we have for the episode today, we have three picks, but don't forget to tune in to our Instagram page for the final say and the final picks because the picks do change. That's just a quick little disclaimer. But let's just hop right into the picks for today. All right. So for our first game of the night, we have the Texas Rangers taking on the Houston Astros at 8:10. The Astros lead the season series at 6-3, and right now the Astros are favored at minus 210, and the Rangers are the underdogs at plus 175. Abhishek, what's your thoughts on this first game of the night?
So yeah, this is like we just went over a little bit. The last thing I mentioned was the Rangers. There's very little reason to back them at all here. The run line plus 1.5. Would you contemplate that? That's basically the point here, and that's why we have the benefit of starting this episode so early. So that way we can give the information and then make our decisions a little later on. So minus 210. That's a hefty price if you're doing a straight bet. That's why we may be doing something else tonight, which is why you guys should tune in. Have 210 is not crazy price, but it is a hefty price, especially for a straight bet. But I think the Houston Astros are clear and cut. This is it. They just came off a day off, so their bullpen got rested. They came off losing to Cleveland Indians their last game. The Rangers are 0-9 in their last 9 games. They're 0-7 since All-Star break. I just mentioned that. The Houston Astros are one of the best teams against lefties. The Texas Rangers starter today, Colby Allard, is a lefty, and he has lost his last 5 starts. The last 5 games that he started, they have all lost, and he has given up at least 3 runs in all those starts, and they do not have a great bullpen. So if you get to him, when he's out, the rest of the pitching relief pitchers, they ain't that good either. So at this point, Jake Odorizzi starting for the Houston Astros, who recently, his season started off rough. He was pitching awful. He went on the injured list, came back, and it looks like he may have fixed some things. 5 out of his last 6 starts have been quality starts. His last start against the White Sox was not good, but the White Sox are one of the best teams in baseball, especially at home. So can you say that he struggled because he was going up against a phenomenal team? Yeah, you can make that argument. So you go from the White Sox as your last start to now potentially one of the top 3 worst teams in baseball at home. This is clear and cut as day. Like, the Houston Astros are the play here. But are you going to play them straight up? Can you get another team and parlay them? Or would you take the run line? That is what we will be giving out later on. But the
Mhm.
pick clearly here is the Houston Astros.
Houston Astros. All right. All right, so for our second game of the night, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the San Francisco Giants at 9:45. The Giants here are the underdogs sitting at plus 170, while the Giants are sitting at minus 200. The season series is tied at 2-2 apiece, so tonight's game, the fifth game of the season. Abhishek, who you got for this game?
Okay, this game, I just wanted to look over one thing real quick. One, two, three, four, five. All right, so the this is the biggest mismatch in my opinion throughout the whole day. The Giants, as we mentioned, they just beat the Dodgers 3 out of 4 games. They are rolling. They're 30-13 at home. They have the best record in baseball. The Pirates just got swept by the worst team in baseball, and that's the Arizona Diamondbacks. They got swept by them. And right now, I know Rune just mentioned that there are minus 200. Some places, some sports books, depending on the sports book you're using, obviously
Yeah.
the odds range. So if you go on DraftKings, that's the one I saw one of the lower prices, minus 180, which is way better than minus 200. But yeah, just a side note because it does all depend on the sports books, obviously, at the end of the day. But regardless, um, first, the Giants side here. Obviously, best record at home, 30-13. They're going back home. They're coming off a phenomenal series against the Dodgers. It doesn't matter if it's the first inning or the ninth inning. This team does not quit. They will try to find a way. They have so many star players injured, and yet they're still doing this. And that's why this team is so great. Now we get to the pitching. Johnny Cueto, he's been pitching for a long time. He's the veteran of the team. And this stat just blows my mind. He has started 32 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates. He is 21-4 against them, which with a ERA of a 2.17. And if that's not dominant, then I don't know what is, especially against one team. His last 5 games against the Pirates, home or road, he has a 1.9 ERA. So he is flat. He has their number. He knows what he's doing against them. He's dominant against them. He has a better team backing him. He has the better offense backing him. He has a better bullpen, relief pitchers backing him. And these games mean more to them than it does for the Pirates. Now we get to the Pirates side. Chad Kuhl is pitching for them. He has actually pitched pretty well for them. This team is a struggling team. They're 15-34 on the road. Like I mentioned earlier, they got swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks, which is straight up pathetic, even though the Pirates aren't a good team themselves. But there's no reason why you get swept by them. Um, Chad Kuhl has pitched well in his last 5 starts. He's only had one bad start out of his final in his last 5. So that's reason for optimism if you're a Pirates fan. But the thing is, his performances that have been have come at home, not on the road. On the road, he is 1-4, and his ERA is north of 6. So that is a drastic difference. You're struggling on the road. You're playing a team that's the best team at home. You're playing a team whose starter has dominated you. Everything points to one side of this argument, and that is the Giants. And also, depending on where you can get the price, minus 180, that's kind of, even minus 180 is a little bit more than, especially since yesterday. Anything over minus 140 is when you have to debate whether you want to take a straight bet or not, because you need to have value, because you're putting more money in to make a little bit less because you're not in the plus range. So that's where today is going to potentially be maybe a 2-team parlay, maybe a 3-team parlay. You never know. We got time. It's 11 o'clock Eastern where we are right now, and the games won't begin for a minute. And that's why we do this earlier on, so we can give you the information needed. But, yeah, that's it for this game. And
All
on
right.
to the last one, Arun.
All right, so the last game of the slate, we have the Colorado Rockies taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers at a 10-10 game. The Dodgers lead the season series at 8-2, and the Dodgers they're minus 300 favorites, but on some books you could get it at minus 250. I mean minus 275, minus 280. So it just depends on the book you go to. But Abhishek, what's your thoughts on the game? The Rockies aren't that good, so
So yeah, Arun hit the nail right there. This is the biggest favorite of the day. There's absolutely no reason why anyone should make a straight bet on this. The only way you'll make a bet on this is if you either take the run line or you somehow choose to take the Rockies. But that's it. You're not going to parlay this because there's no value there. Really, you're not going to pick unless you pick the Rockies, which is your choice after I finish discussing this game. But the run line would be the play here. The run line odds have not been released yet or have not been fully released yet because the starters are not fully known. We know who the Rocky starter is going to be and the Dodgers starter is going to be somewhat. We're still assuming. The Rocky starter is going to be Chichi Gonzalez. His last start was against the Dodgers, and the Dodgers scored 7 runs on his ass. So this is at home. So I think to pick this game is pretty simple. David Price will be starting for the Dodgers. He has increased. He is now potentially one of their rotation starters because of the Trevor Bauer situation. We don't know what's going on with him. His situation is crazy. So they're going to need him to amp up his innings. He pitched 3 innings 2 starts ago. Last start, he pitched 4. So you could potentially look for him to pitch maybe 4 to 5 innings tonight. Last night, they blew the lead, but their bullpen did get rest. Only 2 relievers were used, and only one of the relief pitchers was actually used a lot, and that was their closer. I don't even expect their closer to be needed tonight, which is why after David Price exits the game, they should have multiple arms ready to go to finish off the game. So the game here is not even a decision, in my opinion. The Dodgers are the clear-cut picks. Arun mentioned it. They are 8-2 in the series. The Rockies have the worst road record in baseball. The worst. They do not have double-digit wins on the road. And that's all you need to know about the Rockies. At home, the Rockies are phenomenal. It's ridiculous. At home, they have over 30 wins at home, which is a testament to them and how much. But to be honest, it's also an indictment on them that you can play well at home and you struggle mightily on the road. But that's a separate issue for another day. And, yeah, that's how I see this game. And tonight, I'll say this. For tonight's lineup, we have a lot of games today. There are a lot of very, very close games to stay away from. And I just want to mention this as one game that we will not be picking, but I just want to be on alert. And that is this game we did pick yesterday. That was the Yankees versus the Red Sox. You have Garrett Cole going for the Yankees, who is the $300 million man. He has been dominant recently. And then you have Eduardo Rodriguez for the Red Sox. Both these teams, they used all their pitchers yesterday almost that they had available. But this is a game that whichever side you pick, you're guessing. Because both of them, one has been dominant recently. One struggled against the Red Sox. That was Garrett Cole. Rodriguez has dominated the Yankees both starts this year as a lefty, and the Yankees struggle against lefties this year. So just as a caveat, there's a lot of games tonight that are very suspect. A lot of them. They're very close. They're very sus because it can go both ways. So that's why you need to look for the 1 to 2 matchups, even 3. 3 would be pushing it. But all you're looking for is 1 to 2 matchups. So that way, out of 16, 15, 14 games, that you can get into the pluses and make positive money, not negative.
Well said, Abhishek. All right, so just to quickly recap Abhishek's picks for the Rangers Astros, we have the Astros, Pirates versus Giants. We have the San Francisco Giants, the Colorado Rockies versus the Dodgers. We have the Dodgers winning that one. And the bonus pick of the day was
No, the bonus pick of the day, Arun, basically is beware.
Beware. Okay, so there is no bonus pick of the way. At
And
the end
we
of the
will
day,
basically
yeah.
dictate how we pick these games on our IG. later on in the afternoon today.
Yeah, for sure. Because starting pitchers change everything. Sometimes things change. This is
Yes.
the world of sports, and you have to be careful when you're betting. Don't stay away from games that you're not too sure of. And betting's only fun when you're winning, and when you're losing, it can be very miserable. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I hope you guys gamble responsibly. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out.